Hey everyone, before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Stories like this deserve to be shared. The first thing I noticed when I stepped into the apartment was the smell of perfume and spilled wine. I'd been expecting a casual Friday night, just a few friends, soft music, laughter floating in the air. But something hit me before I even saw them, a closeness that didn't belong. I froze by the doorway. There she was, my wife, Elena, leaning against a tall man I'd never met, laughing with her head tilted back, hair catching the dim light like flames. Her hand brushed his arm, not a casual brush, the kind you do without thinking. It lingered. My chest tightened. I didn't yell. I didn't storm over. I just stood there, letting the moment stretch out like a slow-motion nightmare. I could feel my phone vibrating in my pocket. A message from her. Running a bit late, love. Don't wait up. I'd seen this pattern before. Small lies, excuses, gestures that didn't match the words. I shoved my phone back and tried to push down the sinking feeling twisting in my stomach. I remember the nights she said she was just catching up with coworkers, but came home smelling like another man's cologne. I remember the texts I stumbled across, harmless on the surface, flirty in tone, and how I convinced myself I was overreacting. Until now, the party noise faded. All I could hear was the clink of glasses, the hum of conversations, and the sickly sweet perfume that clung to her like a warning. I caught her eye for just a second. She smiled, leaned in, whispered something I didn't hear, and laughed. And in that laugh, I realized it wasn't mine I heard her laughing for. I wanted to move. I wanted to confront. But my mind froze, caught between rage and disbelief. I stayed silent, letting the scene unfold like a movie I wished I could pause. That's when I noticed the way he looked at her, like he already owned a part of her heart. And in that moment, I wondered, had I been blind all along? Do I confront her now, or wait for proof I'm not ready to see? I kept my distance, nursing my drink, pretending to laugh at jokes I didn't hear. But every time Elena leaned closer to him, touching his shoulder or laughing at something I couldn't catch, it felt like needles against my skin. My mind raced through every moment we'd shared, the nights of whispered secrets, the Sunday mornings drinking coffee together, the way she used to look at me before work. And now, it all felt like a setup I hadn't seen coming. I tried to remind myself not to jump to conclusions. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe I was imagining things. But the way he laughed, brushing his hand over hers casually, and the way she tilted her head, exposing her neck in that subtle, intimate way, it wasn't innocent. Not when I'd known her for nearly 5 years. Not when my gut screamed otherwise. I excused myself to the balcony, the cool night air slapping my face, trying to clear my head. I glanced at my phone again. Another message. Miss you face blowing a kiss dot. That wasn't from me. It was from him. Or maybe someone else. My hands shook as I scrolled through the last few days. Flirty emojis, half-joking comments about meeting up, laughter-filled texts that weren't meant for my eyes. And then one that hit like a hammer. Can't wait to see you tonight, smirking face. The world narrowed down to the balcony. The faint hum of music through the walls. The shadows of people dancing behind the glass. My mind replayed every small lie I'd brushed off, the late-night calls, the sudden work trips, the weekend she suddenly needed space. It all fit together now, a puzzle I didn't want to complete. I didn't yell. I didn't storm in. I stayed frozen, watching, waiting. And then I saw it, something unmistakable. His hand grazed the small of her back, guiding her closer, lingering a second too long. And she leaned into it. My chest felt hollow. My throat was tight, but I couldn't make a sound. The man turned, noticing me for the first time. He smiled, friendly but taunting like he knew. And Elena, her eyes met mine just for a flicker, and I saw the hesitation, the guilt, or maybe it was just surprise. And then my phone vibrated again, a notification from the dating app I thought was long deleted. A new message from her. I didn't read it. I couldn't. My hand shook too much. I realized then, with a sharp clarity that hurt worse than any punch, that the person I thought I knew might be gone already. I finally stepped inside, heart hammering, legs heavy like lead. The music was louder now. Everyone caught up in their own laughter, oblivious. Elena turned toward me, her smile faltering the moment she saw my face. For the first time, there was no pretense, no playful glint in her eyes. Just recognition. "Hey," she said softly, almost nervously. I didn't answer. I walked straight to the table where her drink sat, picked it up, and set it down without touching her. "We need to talk," I said, my voice low-controlled, more than I felt. I could feel every eye in the room shifting toward us, sensing the tension before it even broke. She opened her mouth, then closed it again. The man, realizing he was in the way, took a step back, awkwardly. "Look, he started, but I shook my head. Not him. Not tonight." Elena's hands trembled slightly. "I didn't." "You didn't what?" I cut in, voice sharper now, the hurt bleeding through. "Tell me the truth? Stop lying? Or maybe just stop pretending this isn't happening." She looked down, biting her lip. I could see it in her eyes. The guilt, the regret, the panic that comes when you've been caught. I didn't mean for it to get this far," she whispered. "It just happened." "Just happened?" My laugh was bitter, short. "You're holding his hand, leaning into him, smiling like I'm invisible. And it just happened?" Her voice cracked. I don't know why. I was lonely. I'm sorry." I felt everything inside me snap at once. Anger, heartbreak, betrayal. But also a strange, quiet clarity. This wasn't just a mistake. It wasn't a lapse. It was a choice. And for me, the choice was clear too. I stepped back, shaking my head. "I can't do this anymore. Elena, I won't." I turned toward the door, the weight in my chest both heavy and freeing. Outside, the cold air hit me like a cleansing force, and I realized I was finally breathing again, truly breathing, without lies pressed against my lungs. I glanced back once. She was frozen in place, watching me leave, perhaps finally understanding the cost of her choices. I didn't look back again. I knew some people aren't meant to stay, no matter how much you love them. Some lessons come too late, some truths too painful. But silence sometimes speaks louder than any confrontation ever could. If you've ever been in a situation where trust shattered overnight, or someone you loved chose someone else, comment below and share your story. And don't forget to subscribe. These are stories we all need to hear.